Hello and welcome back, everyone. It has been a little while since we last saw you. Glad to see some wonderful, beautiful faces in the chat. Hearts for you all. I can see you hyping it up. My name is Graham, or Graham Crackers, and if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. We are a channel dedicated to playing D&D and video games with friends and just having a good, grand old time. I will be your wonderful, fantastic, slightly neurotic DM for the night in the homebrew game of Shards of Anarion, our nice little every other week game. And I am joined by some fantastic, wonderful, just genuinely swell people today, as I am every week, who should introduce themselves. And, I want to know three things from them: who they are, who they're playing, and, chat, do you have any suggestions for an interesting question you would like to ask the party? I think we've asked them what their favorite color is and what their favorite food is so far. And an embarrassing
Now, is this of our
moment.
characters or of
Oh, yeah,
us?
it's of your characters.
Okay.
I think
got
we've
it.
asked favorite color.
We haven't? I could have sworn that was like episode 1.
I don't
No,
know.
because I'm pretty sure I would have said that Verban is colorblind.
Fair, alright. Well, what is your favorite color? Those are the three things I want to know this week.
All right.
Chat, put
I'll
your
start.
suggestions for next week in the chat below.
I think I'll start. Name is Stroke. I am playing Garok the Death Cleric, and his favorite color would probably just be black. Just death. Death works. All right, El.
I'm El, and I'm playing Ning, the Turtle Monk. Yeah, I'm a monk. And Ning's favorite color is seafoam green. Derek?
That's adorable. Hi, I'm Derek Sword. I'm playing Verban, the Knoll Ranger. And yeah, hyenas are not canines, but like canines are colorblind. So he sees in a scale of blues to yellows. So his is a lovely mix of blue and yellow, but not green. Something else, like a nice mustard.
Lello.
Fox?
I'm Fox. I play Brodus, your lovely, lovely bard that never gets you into trouble. And Brodus's favorite color would probably be purple. Because it's the color of royalty, and that's what he is.
Hi guys, I am Pharaoh. I will be playing Sinra Staudermain, a Leonin warlock paladin. And her favorite color, she shares similar color cones to the nice old Verban over there. However, I think that her favorite color would be as rich of a royal blue as they can kind of see. Back to you, Graham.
Oh, why, thank you. I was looking to see if I had a reverse Uno card emote, which I don't, in Twitch, so I guess I'm going to have to get on that to make one.
Graham, what's your favorite color?
Oh, gosh. My favorite color is orange, but not like a regular orange. I really like a russet sunset orange. Like, right as the sunset is cascading over the mountains, and you get that backdrop of, like, black overtaking the last deluges of light. That's my favorite color.
Burnt orange. Good. I like it.
But last we left off, without further ado, our party forced their way, well, not forced, but they went to the counselor rooms to greet and speak with counselors on behest of Brodus and Lanthario's mission. Sinra followed the group, only to shove her way to the front and announce that she is royalty and that all the nobles should pay attention to her. However, most of the counselors were still in discussion about a rogue wizard that was causing some trouble in the mines. The party eventually waited some more, and eventually the council members left the room and began to approach. They spoke with several of the counselor members. They met Stone Speaker Athala Bronzebrow, who was the advisor on construction mining and the main ally in the dwarven efforts to curb the affliction that kind of affects the Crystal Caverns, which is all dwarves are under a curse that will slowly turn them to stone. And she has been working avidly, as has her predecessor, to stave this horrible, horrible fate to no avail. They met High Priest Dunduggan, who greeted all of them and offered them access to the library and the Hall of Lore and of every bit of published and stored documents that they had that were available to the public and to someone of Sinra's station. They also met Morden Forgefist, one of the nobles, who, as a counselor, introduced himself to Sinra and the rest of the party and invited them to a banquet in her honor, allowing her to invite guests as she pleased, as well as to take some of the efforts into his own hands to arrange this soiree. The party then went off back into town to the Thunder Jugs, Battle Dome Extraordinaire, a local restaurant that Verban had made a deal with the owner to invest in exchange for the recipe to make a pie, which all of the party contributed to. They would get shares in the company itself, which was widely successful, with some leverage from Sinra that at a higher percent interest or yield for the split, that they would be invited to the soiree tonight. And that is where we left off.
Are we still in the room with Mr. Thunderjugs?
For the sake of the narrative, I'll say that where we're starting tonight is about 25 minutes after that conversation. Having provided the pie, taught them how to create it, reaching an agreement, signing the agreement, you are all out of Thunderjugs and onto the streets of the market district of the Crystal Caverns to plan and plot your next move. I don't think you would do it while in there, per se.
Help me recall. Was that banquet supposed to be taken like tonight
Yes.
or next? Okay.
It is tonight.
And what time of day are we at?
Well, there's no clocks. And there's no sunlight to measure, but by your best approximation, you went early in the morning, about 8, to the council chambers, and waited for about 2.5 hours, putting you at about 10:30. Best guess, probably early afternoon.
And the banquet's happening like later at...
Yeah, evening. So I'd say you probably have 7-8 hours before, being fashionably late. I think at this point, Lanthario has returned to the tavern to, buy some gifts and, start drafting some proposals. And he would have kind of separated to have some documents prepared, as he was also invited. Leaving all of you to your own devices for a whole day.
Bruce kind of turns to Sinra and goes, well, Miss Your Highness.
Sindra is fine. Do not do that.
Your Highness Sinra, being that this is in your honor, do you think that we need to all freshen up a bit, better clothes,
If you wish.
Ning's going to lean into Verban. Why is Brodus calling Sinra your highness?
You were asleep for that. Short, quick, and dirty. Sinra is reincarnated Leonin princess royalty from long time ago. I haven't asked questions. It was just matter of fact. You fell asleep on a stool
The stool is
when that
comfortable.
happened.
Ning, we're walking down the street, I'm assuming? Like walking down a street?
Yep.
Ning is going to jump out in front of Sinra and drop down into a bow.
No, no.
Do
She doesn't
do
like
not
that.
do this.
I apologize for my rudeness before, Your
There
Majesty.
was no rudeness. Do not attempt titles. It is not important. None of these titles are correct, and nor are they. They mean nothing now.
May I ask what the correct title is?
I think it would annoy me much more to tell you. So no, I will not tell you. I do not want to hear this for the rest of the time that we travel.
I mean, you brought it
Majesty
up.
it is.
Not that. That would be reserved for a sovereign, of which I was not and am not.
She doesn't have a kingdom anyway. All of her people are dead, Ning.
Precisely. That is why none of these titles hold any value.
I mean, it
Ning
got us
gets
a
up.
banquet.
Ning kind of gets up upon hearing this and just goes and hugs Sinra.
Don't think she's into that either.
So sorry that you lost everybody.
Bad.
Happy medium between full prostration and hugs, Ning. Happy
Oh.
medium.
Sorry, and goes
It's-
back to bowing.
Shall we call you friend?
You can call me Sindra. It is what you have known me by until now. I don't see what the problem is.
Let's try, brothers.
I tried. uh, so is everyone just wearing what they're wearing? Is that the plan?
Are we not supposed to wear clothes? Is it one of those parties?
No. You are supposed to wear clothes.
Oh. Do I need nicer clothes?
Your circles?
It would. I am of two minds of this. For one, I do not think any of you represent me per se, so it does not particularly matter to me what you wear. However, it is possible that these dwarves may take offense if you do not present to what they believe you should present as. So, if you want to help your Thunder Jugs person and Lantario over here, you may wish to dress to some station. But personally, I do not care. It is up to you.
I took a dirt bath last month. It was horrible. Brothers, you are fancy. Yep. You can dress me.
If it is only cleaning you wish, I can do that.
Oh, okay. Or you were just going to pick bugs out of each other's fur?
No, I will just... And I, flick my clawed fingers up as kind of a gentle wind kind of swirls around you, smelling a little of the plains that we've recently left, and I'll just prestidigitate you a bit cleaner.
My natural grease, where's it gone? Oh no, there it is. I found it.
I want to take the fur that I bought off of Verban and give it back to Verban as you can use it as a almost fur
Loincloth.
overcloak.
Oh. Okay.
I think they have somewhere here that sells shell polish.
Probably. Garak, do you know of stores here that sell shell polish?
Maybe back at that general store. Or,
metal polish, like in oil. Would that perhaps do the trick? I do not want to go back to the general store. It was terrible.
You want just the shine? I can give you oil.
I mean, distant water does not put out a nearby fire. Ning will start walking towards the marketplace again.
Yeah. If any of you would like to roll me a investigation check, if you're looking for, well, first tell me what you're looking for. Are you looking for like a very high-end tailor shop? Are you looking for middle of the road? Are you looking for a general store?
I have to remember how much gold I have.
I took a look at your sheets earlier. Not much.
Ning has more gold than they've ever had in their entire life right now. So
I have a lot of personal wealth, but it is just not liquidable right now.
I don't have much personal, but I do have a little bit of business left.
why would you want to turn your wealth into liquid?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I am picking up on terminology. To liquidate is to take all that you have and melt it, all of your gold, and melt it down into one big block like liquid, and then take it and make a bigger block out of it. So theoretically, I could melt down thunder jugs into a solid block of wealth.
It is meant to be metaphorical. There is no actual melting.
Oh, I should read more.
Graham, I think Bros would be looking for fancier than himself, but not super fancy.
Okay. So, fancier than himself, but not too fancy. Roll me your investigation check.
Heck yeah.
Like a banana republic.
Yeah. You find a Coles. That's the best I can do on short notice.
12.
But it's COALS.
You know
Not
what?
like an Old Navy, but maybe like Gap. Just like
I've got some inspirations that I can use, so
Sure.
I will use a inspiration.
Sure, use a viewer inspiration. Why
Oh
not?
nope, 12 is as high as it's gonna be.
All right.
Noted.
Okay. So as you begin to wander down the street, aimless, just kind of searching for any old fancy tailor shop or even, a clothing shop that maybe is more specialized. Easy enough for you to find, being a dwarf. Finding outfits that are going to fit the rest of your companions is going to be a little bit harder. But you do find originally a dwarven tailor shop that's called Seams and Dreams.
Great. I love it already.
But if you would like to press on and look for something more exotic,
No, Seams and Dreams is great.
okay. Yeah, it is a chiseled stone kind of overhang. It looks like almost like the lip over the entrance kind of forms like this overhang of like what you would see on like a cliff, in like a cave entrance. The entrance itself is this ornate onyx door that looks to be imported. It is paper thin with a lavish gold handle. And in the front are two sets of those square window panes that are about 8 by 8, where you can see mannequins, like 4 mannequins on each side of the door that are like in various poses, dressed up in everything from, a miner's day off, like someone that's been in the mines. Sorry, or I made it weird. I'm so sorry.
how old is the person who works in the mines,
my.
Graham?
Oh my.
I mean, they're all like 58 plus. They're dwarves. They live forever.
I mean, that's a minor dwarf, though.
It's a young dwarf. I wouldn't say a minor dwarf unless they're
The
in a mine.
Minor.
But then they have like wizarding robes that are made out of these. It almost looks like a gossamer that's made from like spider silk. that kind of hangs off of it. There are various robes that seem to have enchantments on it, like minor illusion enchantments or like smoke that kind of billows off it as you move. They have one that has like little illusions of lightning bolts that travel along the hems. They have one that they swear glows in the dark. And they have several dresses, several skirts, kilts. You name it, they've probably got it. They have like a doublet and like a tie and like a three-piece suit that the tie itself almost appears like it has chains on it. And the doublet is like this rock, like a gray rock-ish, but it seems to kind of blend into the wall behind it.
Yeah, I want to lead my party into this
Seems the dreams,
establishment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you quickly turn the doorknob, that's not a problem. And you are greeted by, it's like a stone floor, and there are several different bins that all seem to be sorted by article. Each one with like a separate price tag. On the walls, there are a flurry of baskets, with everything from like shoes to socks to various scarves and hats. There's a back counter that has 3 dwarves. One looks really bored and is kind of like leaning like this, you know. One is sitting behind the cash register talking to the second. And then there is one dwarf on the floor assisting a few other guests. They're kind of taking measurements, and there's a changing room to the far right side.
Yeah, I just want to be like, all right, everybody, take a look around, see if there's anything that fits your style, and yeah, let's dress to impress.
Verban is just staring at the one with the lightning bolts. Help. Help. Is that how you get service? Help.
Hey, hello?
Help!
Oh, hello there.
Help.
Hello, I'm over here. You don't
Yep.
you don't need to yell. I'm coming. One of the dwarves, blonde hair, little wispy beard, kind of comes from behind the back counter and kind of walks over towards your party. What seems to be the problem? What can I help you get? Is there anything you like, firstly? Oh my, I've never seen anyone like you before, or like you.
My friend over here wants to
One
try
moment.
on.
Do you mind if I take measurements?
For me?
I'll
Or
get
for
to you,
him?
sir.
Oh.
Will you give them back?
Of
That is
course.
not what it means.
Oh,
Don't carry any measurements with me.
Oh, that's okay. I can make my own. And she kind of pulls out like this string that kind of is dyed like black on several different spots in various intervals. And she kind of goes, arms up. Oh, wonderful. And then she kind of gets behind you and like kind of reaches up and like pulls the string across. Oh, wonderful. Oh, I've never worked with that size before. Arms up over your head.
I will simplify this. We do not have multiple days for a full suit. Whatever we are purchasing will need to be done within the next couple hours. So, a coat, unnecessary. Thank you.
Oh, well, I mean, we could make modifications to something, or we could sew, if we have various articles of clothing, we could sew them together. But, all right,
Perhaps.
and she kind of backs away.
What
can I
are
do
you
for
looking for, Verban?
He's the new co-owner of the fine establishment of Thunderjugs. This wonderful article of clothing with lightning bolts perfectly demonstrates my status in this city. I want to demonstrate and support.
Okay, well, we've got plenty of things. I don't know if... Well, let me tell you what. You want to demonstrate your support, and you you just said Thunder Jugs. Oh, well, good for you, I suppose.
It is a fine family place. You should try it out. Again, it is under new management. Co-management.
Have really good pie.
Oh, well, I suppose I could, but on that topic, what's your price point?
Cheap.
What would that cost?
This one with the lightning bolts.
Yes.
That would be 12 gold pieces.
Never mind, I'm fine. I'm good.
Verban, I can get this for you if you really enjoy it.
Perhaps it
Okay.
could be turned into a nice cloak for you.
Or even just like a collar. I can work with that.
How many measurements do I have to give you for a hat?
Oh, well, I suppose what kind of hat are you looking for? Are you looking for a bowler hat, a top hat? Are you looking for a ball cap? Are you looking for a toque? Are you looking for something that is more fashion over function or more function over fashion?
For my head.
Technically, all hats go on top.
Perhaps you can bring him a few to
But-
try on.
Yeah, try bowler, top hat, just all of it.
Of course. One moment. And she... So would you like to get the lightning one while I'm going back and I can put it at the register for you?
Would you prefer it in its current state, or do you want it altered?
Does it fit in its current state?
It might be snug, but you could probably wear it as like a light coat, but it's gonna be like, in the 90s and the 80s how they had like torn sleeves? It's gonna be one of those looks where it's like pretty kind of tight that hugs the biceps.
Could I maybe get this in vest form?
We could definitely do that for you. I'm sure that we could add a few stitches in the back to kind of expand it. Yeah, not a problem.
That way it would show I am an investor in Thunder Jugs. It sends a message.
Of course, I would be happy to do that. She will take it back, hand it to the girl that was kind of like looking so done with the place. Classic retail worker. And they will kind of take it, go into the back, and you can kind of hear the sound of like kind of a sewing machine, like guh 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 guh. And she kind of moves away, goes to one of the bins, pulls out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hats. She walks up to one of the flat areas that kind of probably at one point had a mannequin. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have a top hat with a ribbon of... It looks to be a like white ribbon that kind of flows like water off of it, and it kind of hangs in the air. You have a bowler cap that is bright blue and has a red bow tie around the top. You have, a few toques that are made of wool. You have a beanie that is rainbow, and the colors kind of merge and shimmer and change all the way down and then back up. You have a hat that is kind of like a Robin Hood hat, one of those like slim green hats with a feather that you would see in like the animated Disney movie. Then there is a hat that is just a simple, it looks almost a mixture between fabric and plastic. And it's got 2 funnels and 2 little cozies that could probably fit a tankard of mead.
Wow.
What
So
is
first
the
off-
what is the function of this?
Of which one?
These contraptions. I am unfamiliar with this on a hat.
Oh, well, it holds your meat for you. And then you see, and she kind of presses a button on the back, and you see like a gunk, and this like little straw kind of like falls out from both sides. And then you could put these into the mead and drink while you're walking.
This is a common thing in dwarven society.
Oh, absolutely not. It's more of a gimmick, but I didn't know if you wanted a functional hat or a fashionable hat.
I understand now.
Ning, meanwhile, is trying hats on and posing like the mannequins that are in the store window, and like looking at the rest of the group to see what their reactions to the different hats are.
Brodus would approve of like the bowler and the top hat and stuff like that. But, it's your hat.
I want the bowler hat so badly. L wants the bowler hat on the turtle. Ning will like try on the bowler hat a couple times and like go to the lady and, do you have this in like more of a, don't like red?
Oh, what color would you like? Would you like one that
Green?
changes colors with your mood? We have those. We have some that at random intervals will just shoot out fireworks.
That, please.
Not for a banquet.
Is it not a
Sorry, Your
celebration?
Highness.
Do-
Okay. Maybe one that I would like 2 bowler hats.
Oh, I do
would
have
like-
a fez as well that has a little animated green dragon on top of it that will make little sounds and kind of flaps around
No
as
dragons.
the tassel.
No,
Oh.
no dragons. Thank you. Green bowler hat maybe, and one that shoots out fireworks, but not for banquets.
I can do that. And she will go back, pull out a bowler hat that kind of has a... You know where the little button on the top of a bowler hat is? This one is like the top, the red, like a little bit of subtle red off-colored of like a darker green that looks like the top of a firework. And she kind of brings back the first green bowler hat, and then she brings back a second one.
How much are these?
Well, for the first one, it's going to be 6 gold, and for the firework one, it is 8 gold.
Can I also have the hat with the feather in it, please?
Oh, of course.
The Robin Hood style one.
And, we do have a deal that is, you buy 2 and you get one 50% off. So I'll give that one to you for 4 gold.
Hat. I need the whole hat.
Oh, I meant half off the price, not half off the hat.
Right. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
I will take all 3 of them, please.
All right, I will go bring them up, and she kind of puts them in the pile for your party. Anything else for all of you?
I want a top hat and a cane.
A top hat and a cane, okay. Do you want them to do anything? Do you want anything special?
No, just a top hat and a cane.
Oh, just a boring top hat and a cane, okay.
I mean, can the cane do things special?
I don't know, do you want a special cane, or would you like a regular cane?
I mean, what would a special cane cost me?
I mean, it depends on how special they are. I have cane swords, I have cane umbrellas, I have cane pipes, I have canes that turn into pickaxes, I have...
Let's go with a cane sword.
Okay, that one will be 22 gold.
How about a cane umbrella?
That will be 6 gold.
I'll go with the cane umbrella then.
Okay. And she will go get that. And then you just wanted the top hat, correct?
Yes, just
Okay.
basic black top hat.
That is 1 more gold.
Great.
Anything else for all of you?
Not for
Garak
myself.
and Your Highness, you don't need anything?
We do have a clearance bin as well, if you would like to take a look. Everything there is 75% off.
I turn and head towards the door.
Garak follows.
My tail swishing like agitatedly.
So what's the total?
I don't remember
It's
because
25
I gave...
gold, and I put it on the. I give.
Oh,
I give them.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, plus the 12, so it's
37.
Because the
37.
yeah, 37. So I give 37 gold to. Actually, it's
Oh.
probably more like 40 because I'm not the best at counting, especially in high numbers.
I mean, that's we'll say
Nick,
40, and I'll give you an extra 3 gold if I'm wrong when I rewatch this episode.
All good.
Nick, I was gonna pay, but I guess if you want, great.
I'm liquidating assets.
You are liquidating assets.
Participating in the local economy, Ning, I am very proud of you.
We do also have a super special cloak. I don't know if that would interest any of you. You just look very much like adventurers.
What does said super special cloak do?
Well, this one makes it easier to hide.
Roldus, you could use that.
I mean, how much is it?
240 gold.
Nope. I do not have that. Is there any way you can go down to like 25?
I mean, I could get you a cloak that lights itself on fire and then, like a phoenix, kind of regrows so the next day.
What a party trick.
They were all the rage a few years ago. I think it's still in the bargain bin.
Do you have any other fun cloaks for 25?
For 25, Let me see. And she kind of goes past the shelves, kind of like looking, almost like she's pulling knowledge of items from like a place in her head that's like a filing cabinet. I do have a cloak that can cast, sometimes clerics and druids can kind of make someone do a little bit better when they're trying to do something. We have one that can do that 5 times, and then its magic is depleted, which is 20 gold.
You know what? I'll just go with the cloak that lights me on fire.
Sure. And you know what? Because you did buy 2 items yourself, the cane and that, 4 gold.
Perfect, and I throw 4 gold down.
Wonderful. She will hand you this cloak. It is like a bundled coal black, and then on the hem is like flames that are kind of like licking at the bottom. They don't give off any heat.
Perfect. I want to put the cloak, the hat, and hold my umbrella cane.
Yeah. You look so fancy. As you're leaving, you just hear, "I'm so glad we got rid of that cloak. I was so sick of setting out the fires."
Ning is like juggling the hats and switching them constantly as they're walking out of the shop.
Bros wants to turn it in and just goes, just remember which one's which for the banquet.
Were they visibly different?
The 2 bowler caps?
Yeah.
The only thing that is visibly different is one has at the top where they have like the little button is a little bit of red that's like an off green red, and the other one just all green.
So colors that we can't differentiate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Almost like I planned this.
Great.
And then you have me who lights on fire.
Hydrate, y'all.
All right. I think we are ready for tonight.
Oh, did Verban get his vest?
Yeah, it was in the pile.
They finish it.
So yeah, sorry. Yeah, I should have explained. They would have brought out this tailored where they added like a cross stitch on the back and added a few inches of fabric to make it more of a vest.
Properly vented it. Yes, this is nice and comfortable.
It looks good on you as an investor of Thunder Jugs.
Thunder Jogs, shut here. That is our new tagline.
Part of me wishes I had made that that outfit the lightning spell words. Just once per day change what it says.
Not too late.
Yeah, you know what? Chat, should we? first person to say yes or no gets DM powers for the next 10 seconds. Yes. Oh, well, it can't be a player. Well, Bob
Thanks,
has the
Bob.
power. Bob says yes. It is canon. Once per day, you can change what the lightning will spell as it kind of goes across your back.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to ask. With my cloak that lights itself on fire, do I get to choose when it happens?
No, it is
Or
entirely random. It's when I choose. If you would like to somehow plan your day around it, I will say you can roll a D100, and depending on what you
Nope,
roll, I
nope.
will just let it happen.
I'm good without knowing.
Okay, I mean, okay. Sure. Okay.
You know-
Anything else you would like to buy while you are in the shopping district?
No, I'm good.
You know, Brodus, if you want to be lit on fire, I can do that for you.
No, I'm good.
Same.
Good. Really,
I
I'm
have a
good.
tinderbox.
No, I've got this cloak now. It can do it for me.
I do want you to understand that if you cause problems for Lanthario, this is not my issue. You are representing him.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And Ning, if you startle these people and cause them to attack you in the middle of a banquet because you set off something loud and bright and possibly
She's
seeming to
talking
be
about the
offensive,
fireworks.
yes, if the fireworks go off in the banquet, that will be a problem.
We're outside.
What
now,
are you
right?
doing?
You are outside. You hear I'm assuming you're trying to set off the firework.
Like
Okay.
staring straight into her eyes.
So as you're doing this, you hear a like that bottle rocket sound. And then you just see from the bowler hat this spiral of sparks as the little red firework cap shoots up about 25 feet and just explodes into a shower of like gold streamers. And as soon as it explodes, you see like a little nub begin to grow and pop out.
I would like to slowly, so he knows I'm doing this. This is not sleight of hands. I will reach for the hat and go to take it off of his head. Does he
I
stop
wonder why
me?
they made the firework gray.
Would he stop me
As
from
soon as she
removing it?
starts to reach out, Ning starts to reach out, thinking they're hugging again.
And I take the hat off. This
put on the
one
other
will
one.
stay in the room tonight and not go to the banquet.
I switch to the hat with the feather.
I hand the fireworks hat to Garrick.
First it drops to the floor, then he picks it up.
I cast
Better to
Prestidigitate
light-
to clean it.
It's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. And Ning will start walking down the street, switching hats again.
Do we still technically have time for the banquet?
Oh yeah, you have hours. This probably only took you about 15, 20 minutes tops. You have 7 or so
Wanna
hours.
With
Catch
Somehow.
up with Ning. I noticed something when they were offering hits. There was the fez and the green dragon. You seemed very put off by the dragon. Is there a reason for this?
Don't like dragons.
I have never encountered one, but I hear we might be meeting one, and I was very interested in learning how to kill them. I was wondering if you would like to accompany me. I was hoping to find some dragon killers.
I was intending to go to this library they mentioned. If you want to go and research the dragon killing techniques, I assume there may be books there.
You
Yes.
continue this conversation and you're walking, you see Ning getting shorter because their limbs are going into their shell as they're walking again.
Are you cold, Ning?
Yes.
Okay. You could wear Bovis's fighter cloak.
Don't know if it will fit me.
Do you want to try?
Garak, you have been in this town before. Are there dragon hunters? Are there people who know how to kill dragons?
I haven't heard of any of that sort of beast. I wouldn't advise it yet in any ways.
Hmm, well, then it is time to do what we must always do: read. Thank Dewey Decimal and his wonderful system.
Are 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 you wanting to go to the library for ban?
Well, yes, I need to learn how to kill something, and if there are not going to be people to teach me, then I must rely on the people who are not here who have written down their knowledge in knowledgeable ways.
Okay, to the library we go.
All right, how many hours are you willing to spend at the library?
4
4 hours. Okay.
before we need to go to the damn banquet.
Yep.
You
So
just you lose time in a library, you know.
it's
like-
true.
But there
so
are minders there. We can ask to be kept appraised of the time.
that is true. And you also know that you have roughly around 7 hours before this thing starts, so 4 hours gives you 3 hours of leeway to, go to the tavern, get some food if you need it. Are you going to get food or have food brought to you while you're in the library?
Before we go to the library, I would like to have that hat left in our rooms.
Okay. Anything else you're leaving in the rooms?
Brodus, this cloak. Will you leave it as well?
What if it starts on fire while we're gone?
It's a weirdly
We
good
could
point.
perhaps acquire a bucket of water. You can leave it in the bucket.
Only if you'll dry it off later.
Me, personally.
Well, you're the one making me put it in a bucket of water.
I think
It's
we
not
actually
something
have a
you
bucket
make
of
your
water.
highness do.
I will try the stinking cave.
Perfect.
You could always prestidigitate it, but that's fine. I think we have a bucket of water thanks to Ning when we froze all of our groceries.
Ooh, Ning, could you freeze my cloak so that it doesn't burn while we're gone?
Yes.
Perfect.
We will leave it in a cube of ice.
Yep.
Is that what you want?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I guess we take this cloak and put it into a bucket full of water, and then Ning does some passes and uses a key point to use shape of flowing water and freezes the bucket. Just monk things.
And maybe we could also get lunch while we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, Bros is just gonna be like, I mean, I could have worn the cloak at least in the library.
I'll hold
Just
the
saying.
bucket up to. You still
It's fine.
could.
No. It's done now, but you could have let me at least wear it to the library, look cool, and then we go to the banquet.
No. I raise
Feel like
my brow at him, like as though I'm waiting for him to question this.
I feel like
Bros will just respond and yes, Your Highness.
Where's the lunch?
Rocks are not much.
Oh, so if you're questioning what is for lunch, they have a few things laid out in the bottom of the tavern. They have a veggie tart with like roots and tubers, and kind of like a caramelized onion toppings. They have a flan, they have a stew, and they have roast mutton. with like seasoned and garnished with a variety of, roasted mushrooms and the like.
I will order roast mutton and stew and assume someone else will pay for me.
Grok.
Okay.
Ning will
Uh,
order 2 of the veggie tarts and 2 of the flans.
all right.
Bros will also order the mutton and the stew.
All right. 30 copper for Ning. 20 copper for Brodus.
I pay for everything.
Oh, wow. Okay, altogether, I would say it's probably about 1 silver.
Verban, are you eating?
I will have the same thing as Brodus.
All right.
It's the best choice.
I just give them a gold. That's a lot of math. I ain't doing it.
Okay. They will pocket it as a tip. They'll even pack you a little bag of leftovers because you are way overpaying for it. So I think they pack you like each a little bag that's got, maybe a tart or maybe like an extra serving. So you can add 1 ration each to your inventory because I think it'll keep for a day.
Perfect.
Garrick, you can add 2.
Got it. Already.
I don't think I have any in my inventory. I'm not carrying.
I'm not
Yeah.
carrying
Got
food like a
11
peasant.
now.
You don't. We talked about this.
Is there anything that you actually carry?
Oh yeah, I am decked in rather intricate looking armor. I've got
Well-
like tons of weapons. I've got like torches. Like I look like I'm ready for a fight and for like solid adventuring, but I am not carrying anything mundane.
So no rations, no rope.
Oh,
Uh,
I do have the rope. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be carrying that.
No,
Taking the rope off.
I got it.
I love this so
We
much.
talked about this.
Well, I was going to call dibs on the rope, but that's fine.
Oh,
Fair enough.
I love it so much. So you've got 3 hours to go, 4 hours to the library. You head off in that direction. You have already been pointed and instructed on how to get there from visiting the counselors. You can make it there probably in like 20 minutes walking. Not a big deal. You are greeted by what looks to be like this crystalline and rock formation of like a tower. It looks like they've carved out around this, and it almost seems like a strut, I think they're called, that kind of are built to hold up the integrity of a ceiling. But it is more like a chiseled wizard's tower that kind of spirals all the way up to the top of the Crystal Cavern's roof. There are 2 wide doors that have like the circular hinge openings. They are made out of this dark metal and seem to be pretty sturdy. They have like facets kind of bolted in. And once you kind of enter inside, there is a front desk that has a scribe. They are currently, they've got a quill behind their ear, a ledger in front of them, and they're like marking the various books that they either need to order or that have been checked out or that they need to, catch up on. They don't really pay you much mind when you enter. They look to be old. They've kind of got like a wispy gray beard. Kind of like, the guy from the Page Master.
Do they look at all partially petrified?
They do. You notice flecks on their neck that are stone. Each about 1 inch in diameter.
All right, I'll walk up.
Good afternoon. How can I help you today?
We will require some aid traversing your library for the next few hours.
Oh, I see. What types of knowledge and arcana and history of those who came before do you require?
Dragon murder.
Oh, how to how to murder a dragon?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have tales.
Draconicide.
I don't think that's a word.
Tales of great dragon hunters and slayers, perhaps.
Okay, well, there's tales of great dragons. There's weapons that have slain dragons. There are how to craft a weapon to kill a dragon. Then there are tales of heroism and of dragons of old.
I'll
I'm
take
looking.
the. Oh,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Portis. No,
Oh, I was
please.
gonna say, I was gonna. May I at least see the tales of dragons slain and of old?
Of course. Would you each like to go to a different section of the library to research these? As
Then not
I
all in
am
the same
afraid it
section.
is quite a large volume each, and they are not permitted to leave.
Hmm.
It's fine. I am looking for more like methodology, like dragon hunting 101, tracking, identifying. What's these dragons' steez? What vibe check?
Ah, yes. We. That reminds me
Dragon
of.
hunting for dummies. You know.
That reminds me of a book I think might interest you. It was called Contraptions of an Ancient Era. It detailed the defenses that our ancient holds used to have against dragons, as well as the types of food dragons eat, their techniques for fighting, breath, their general vibe, and even, you know, poisons or ailments that seem to dissuade dragons.
Old. Yes. I will take this book.
Okay, where should I have my aides? And he kind of like, and like 3 or 4 other scribes that are much younger kind of come out of the woodwork. Who's going where?
Do you have like a giant leather chair next to a fireplace?
Sir, this is a library. I would not put fire in here in a million years. This is the history of our people, of those who have come before, of those who are long forgotten, that, if not for what's on these pages, would be just dust.
All
To
right, I'll
risk
take that
such an
table over there.
wonderful.
Ning.
He will hand you like a glow stone. It is like a stone with like a light cantrip cast on it.
Do you
Ning,
have
is
like a
there
kids section
anything?
with a beanbag chair?
Oh, the youngling section, yes.
Mm,
We most definitely do have the bag of beans.
perfect.
Ning, Garok, is there anything you would like to research while we are here?
I will talk to this dwarf for a while. I have questions.
Ing has already detached their stool and is like sitting on it and half asleep.
There may be
I'm
books
okay.
of poetry if you wish.
Oh, yes. We have poetry. We have. What interests you, Master Turtle? I have not been graced by one of your kind in many a decade.
I like to sit, and I like hats.
I see. Well, should you need any of my services, I would be happy to oblige.
Want a thing long enough, and you don't. And then
Ah,
Ning puts the bowler hat on and then sinks their head into their shell so that all you see is the bowler hat.
is it the firework bowler hat or the regular? No, no, you got that taken away.
No,
It is a regular
Shinra
bowler
took
hat.
that from him then.
Ning, perhaps I could read to you, and you could confront your fear about giant dragons. The more you know, do 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 do. There's a rainbow.
Because knowledge is power.
The bowler cap doesn't move. And in fact, like the limbs kind of sink into the shell as well now. So
Okay,
it's just
well,
this turtle shell sitting on a stool.
You may be frightening him.
well, if you need another proverb, knowledge is power. Go, Joe.
I am interested on if you have any tomes or ancient scrolls or communications regarding the fall of the Starman dynasty.
Ah, um, it is not something I personally read. But if you allow me an hour, I will see what we have. I can't be responsible for knowing everything in your. That was a librarian joke. I don't say them often.
An hour is acceptable, thank you.
They are quite welcome. Aides, if you will, escort them to the various books they require.
Then I suppose I shall stay here.
All right, so Brodus, where are you going? What book out of all the mentioned books would you like to read?
I think I took the book about the amazing tales and
Okay.
adventures uh, of dragons.
Okay, the Tales of Heroism.
Yeah.
Okay. And Verban.
What's that?
What of the before mentioned books would you be reading?
The one that he recommended, the
Oh, yep.
contraptions.
Okay, contraptions.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. This is
Grok.
essentially me role playing out favorite enemy dragons.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like the book that's going to be best for tracking
Absolutely.
and understanding. Yeah.
Yep. Garok, you were going to wait here and talk to the elder librarian.
For a tiny bit, and probably
Okay.
Ning and maybe Brodus
Okay.
a little bit later.
And then Sinra is also waiting, and Ning is hiding. Okay. Can I get a investigation check from Brodus and Verban then?
First roll of the night.
Yeah.
Second roll of the night. That's right, Brodus rolled 12.
3 plus 3. I got very bored.
Okay. So, I think it's not that you got bored, but this is a dense and very large book. It's not exactly something that you can read in a single sitting and regurgitate the information. You learn of several heroes in the past that have slain, bronze dragons, red dragons, green dragons. Not anything that was, a fully grown dragon, per se, outside of, the greatest heroes of all time, but you didn't get to that chapter. But you did learn about 3 or 4 adventuring parties that in the past have come out successful. What you would learn is the details about it is that most dragons have a breath weapon that are of a different element, that most of the parties had a means or a weapon that was suited for slaying dragons. You aren't able to kind of learn any more on that, but you do recognize there are items that can be beneficial to you. And then lastly, dragons usually sit on hoards of gold for a long, or golds of magic gems, magic items. They're very covetous, so a lot of them have a lot of material wealth. And then, spoiler note, a lot of details of failed parties of adventurers. Like, for every successful dragon hunting party, there are like 150 dead parties.
Fair enough. As Brodus gets to the end of his read in this dense book, he will want to put it down and go look for one of his favorite adventuring series. It's The Adventures of Shortlock Thomes, the greatest dwarven investigator.
You can easily find that in the fiction section.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which out of the 38 published do you want to read?
Let's go with number 9.
Okay. Shortlock Holmes, Thomes, and The Tale of the Missing Crystal Skull.
Perfect. It's one of my
His
favorites.
nemesis, Morid and Artie.
So you were able to get that. Verban, what was your role?
I'll use a crit on that because I want him to be very, very good at dragon hunting.
Okay, sure. So you learn a lot about dragons in a short amount of time. It's almost like a dossier about dragons. Like, this book is like a section of scrolls that have all kind of been piled up in front of you. The first one is like the details on the wing membranes, height of dragons, age of dragons, like rough estimates of what the age span per size is. You have details on, the various types and the various scales, the density of the scales, the makeup of their teeth, composition of what makes up their ability to breathe acid or fire from the more common dragons. You find out a few details on like uses for their membranes of their wings. You find out a little bit about, drakes, which are a distant relative of dragons. But also you do find out 3 things that are contraptions, should you wish to pursue. You learn of a quarrel of crossbows, bolts, that used to be made. It was almost like a bola that was 3-pronged with arrows. So when you fired it, it would split up and have this tether between each of the 3 parts of the shaft that were made out of like a brass and various metals to make it more resistant. And it would basically spread out and could be used to, catch wings or to get around the mouth or the legs. You learn of one that was designed that uses a very specific type of metal. It is a mixture of mithril and obsidian, and it is used to craft what they call shredders. They are types of bolts that were either used in ballistas or used in, bows, crossbows, heavy crossbows, to shred the wings, to decrease the ability of a dragon to fly. The last one is in like big letters that just says experimental never tried, and it is what appears to be a magical crossbow, and it has like theorizing of ancient runes that are kind of etched and drawn on of dwarven design. It looks like the wood for the crossbow itself is elven and looks very specifically to be from the Tildwinon, which has, living trees. It looks to be crafted from living trees. The bolt, or not the bolt, but the string that makes up the draw is of, it looks to be Leonin. And it kind of goes into a few details of like silk from Temple of Kavath is the only thing it says.
So Leonin in origin,
Yeah.
not like Leonin hide.
Yeah, not Leonin hide, but Leonin
Okay.
as in where this is like a very old text. It's just like this is where we used to get it.
Okay.
Then outside of that, it has various runes that need a practitioner in magic that is skilled to
Okay.
kind of enchant.
If those are the 3 contraptions, Verban is going to take those 3 pages and just roll them up and put them into his bag.
Sure. You can also copy them. It is like 10
Oh, okay.
copper each.
That's less. Well, no, 10 copper. Ugh.
I mean, the scribes will also do the copying for you. And they did escort you all to where you are.
All right, fine. Yeah, I will pay the copper for those to be copied.
Sure. So they will copy them. It takes probably 10 minutes.
Thank you. I was otherwise going to take them because that is the point of a publicly funded library, is for the benefit of the public.
I mean, this isn't publicly funded, honestly. It's more of like the
Uh,
royal funded.
Oh, you have a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I understand.
Yeah, But I hope that helps. If you need anything else, let me know.
I will keep reading other books until my friends are done.
All right.
More dragons, please.
I've got a picture book.
That will help.
They'll set like a picture book that's like, dragons are bad.
Yeah,
Dragons
he's
ain't
just gonna put
dad.
I'm going to murder you. I'm definitely going to murder you.
Does Verban on each picture like pick which character that's illustrated who they are? They're like, I am that dwarf.
I am
I am
not
that
one.
dragon.
If I were you in this situation, I would move around that tree and I would fire straight up into its gullet.
All right. So after about an hour, the elderly sage kind of approaches back down to Sinra and Grok. They have about 3 or 4 scrolls tucked under a arm that doesn't seem to be moving much. And they have one book that one of the scribes is carrying behind them. Well, I've searched deep into the ancient vaults to find you these. Much was lost when Mondog Tithe fell. I regret that I have nothing more than these to give you.
An interesting suggestion for why you have not much, considering the fall of the Starman dynasty occurred after the fall of Mondag Tithe.
The problem being that we were refugees and we'd had less time to accrue knowledge than to establish where to be. But also I wasn't born then, so the failings of our ancestors, I suppose.
The city was well enough at the time, but thank you for whatever you have brought here.
They will deposit that in front of you. The book itself that the scribe brings is Leonin's, a correspondence of times past, a recollection of memories and correspondence with the Plane of Bones. And it is dated, it's very much like almost reads like a diary. It is, a collection of letters or like mages that are like, I received a message from the Temple of Kavoth. Trouble is stirring.
And
Contacted via sending.
What are these scrolls?
Scrolls. The first one is a illustration of description of the Temple of Kavoth via a traveler. And there are a few of them. There are about 3, all by the same dwarf. A dwarf by the name of Marcus Ulfbrit. And the first one was when they were a young dwarf, and the Temple of Kavoth was still populated by Leonin. The second one is detailed of, I was basically, them saying, I was only able to get within 5 miles. There is smoke from the city. The screams of combat ring heavy in the air. I can't go any further than where I have.
Does this one give me the heebie-jeebies?
Oh, absolutely. This one is what you can easily infer, and you're not even gonna have to roll for this, is the detail of the conflict. It is a war. It is not a small scale fight. This is...
Is this fight that he's referencing, is that where I was?
It is not. This is
Okay.
dated about 5 years prior, or 5 years after.
Okay, got it.
Because the Temple of Kavoth is the closest temple to the caverns themselves. The last one is when he is in his old age. It's about 80 years from his previous visit, and it is a detail of there is nothing here but bones and destruction. I was able to walk through what remains of the Temple of Kavoth. The cackles of gnolls in the distance warned me to stay as close as I could, but far enough to stay away from danger. I have been escorted by several dwarven guards. There are no sign of Leonin anywhere, except for the skeletons that remain. And they report a glow coming from inside the temple, but the temple itself seemed to be in the gnolls' ownership.
And what's the time jump
Sure.
between this one and the one prior?
The youngest, they were a 60-year-old dwarf. Second one, they are 95 years old. And the last one, they are about 180, 170.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I will look those over, and being that they're like hundreds of years old scrolls, I will carefully roll them back and leave them at the desk.
There are two other scrolls that you may find interesting. The outside of the diary that has, all the correspondence. I tried to scry on the temples again today. Something is interfering with the magic. There are my sending spells cannot go through or seem to fail. All efforts of magic to influence or to divine what is going on are failing.
So in the tome,
yes.
I'm looking for names.
Names. All right. Let me pull that information up for you. All right. Are you looking for names of nobility that are deceased?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like dates.
Dates.
Line of succession.
Okay. Let me pull that up.
Specifically, I'm looking for who took the throne after King Sheshor Sarmain. Whether that was Cortus or someone else. I'm also looking for any reference to Brion Ashpaw or Azatathi Ashpaw.
All right. So, there are a lot of names of minor nobles that are listed as deceased. The Moonclaw clan, the minor nobility from the Starmains, Ashpaws. There are Storm Roars listed in the dozens that seem to have died within a year or two of each other, all minor nobles. And this is about 2 years after your death. You see your name listed there. You see a date. You see underneath you your father's name, Shashur. Same date.
And Afa as well? Same date?
Afa's name is not listed.
Okay.
And roll me an investigation
of my
check.
mother?
Roll me an investigation check.
Okay. Can I use one of my 5 crits? Because I'm sitting on a couple.
Can. Of course
cool.
you can. You can use a crit. I will never stop you. So, you keep scrolling. I assume you are searching like at a fervent pace now. You are,
Yeah,
boom,
I'm in the
boom.
section of the book I'm looking for.
Yeah. You see the elder of Clan Stormroar. Their name. Over it. With like details. You see a detailed paragraph. Killed in action. Fighting to defend the Holy Land and the Temple of Ashthra. Fell in battle, succeeded by their son, Vindra. Shortly after that, while staying on Clan Stormroar, 2 years after, Vindra killed in battle. There are a few excerpts that the only thing it says is was not able to confirm via magic of either of these deaths. We received word from travelers of a Leonin party that were asking for reinforcements. We have sent 2 battalions of dwarves with them. You see, 2 years later, the battalion and garrison we have sent has perished in battle. There are demons in the plains. That is the only thing we can confirm. It has a list of garrison commanders that were in charge during this fight. And I will send that to you during the break of like the list of names of the garrison commanders of minor nobles. You see your own clan on like 3 or 4 pages. You see Clan Stormroar. You see the list of nobles and the lines deplete. It is down to like 5 or 6. You see Ashpaw. You don't see the names of Brion or Ashtafi.
Azatafi.
Azatafi.
Yeah.
You do not see their names as confirmed. You see a line from their family lineage. They had a son.
Who did?
Oh my god, Ashtafi?
Azatafi.
Azatafi.
Azatafi had a son.
Yeah. This is about 20 years.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then, 30 years later, deceased. And this is towards the end of the
Her or
her son. There is no confirmation of her death.
Okay.
Then Shashur perished with you around the same date. Cordis, you do find their name. It is listed 15 years after you died.
And was he king at the time?
He was king at the time.
Okay.
He succeeded your father. You see several minor nobles of not only your pride, but of close allies. Same date. And in the description of the margins, it says, the royal family has fallen. A last garrison of Leonin and dwarves tried to defend against demons, gnolls, and the fell ilth from the lower plains. We could not scry. However, the fact that we have received no messages, no information, we can only assume that all who resided at this garrison have fallen.
So, where does it say that Cordis died?
So Cordis did not die at the Temple of Kavath.
Okay.
Cordis died at closer to the borders of the Loxodon's territory within the Plane of Bones. There are a series of ritual circles that are kind of like I wish my knowledge of geography was great, but of like Celtic runestones, and it was like almost a druidic primal font of magic that was surrounded by primal spirits that were very protective of those of the natural order, the Loxodons, the Centaurs, the Minotaurs. This was a place where all could kind of gather, and that is where it is listed as where they perished, is right in the center of that, which would have been one of the last most safe areas that Leonin could flee to.
So I think after all this, which is just a lot for me to take in, I will flip back a few pages to the page that lists Brion and Ezatafi Ashpaw, and I will sit there for the rest of my time, just staring at that page.
All right. And Garak, you wanted to have a discussion with the librarian?
Yeah, so after break. It's up to you.
Well, we can do it now. That'll get us all caught up.
How long have you been touched by the stone?
Oh, well, luckier than most, I suppose. 15 years.
Did it come from the neck?
Why, yes. It started in the throat, moved down the right-hand side, and now, and he kind of lifts a part, like opens up like a button on his shirt, and you see like his stomach is almost all stone. At least the skin on the top. I don't have much left, I'm afraid. But I'm holding in.
Has there been any other words of prolongness of this unfortunate event?
None, I'm afraid. Athala has tried everything she can. From exotic herbs to alchemy, to the divines, even to arcane magic. The only one I know that was still held any hope outside of her was a mage by the name of Bardell Ornsmith. But he went mad, I'm quite mad, I'm afraid. Perhaps he discovered the clue. Or perhaps he realized how futile it really is.
Interesting. I am also seeking clues just to end this curse.
Well, if there's anything I can do to help, I will gladly lend my aid where I can.
It has been decades since I've been back here. I am still trying to find many others that have fell of this stone death.
Ah, well, if you'd like to find those who rest in stone, merely go to the Hall of Echoes. It is where all those afflicted find their eternal rest.
Are they all moved there?
Yes, at least those that perish alongside their kin. For those outside the caverns, they rest where they are, I suppose.
Will no one retrieve them?
If we can find them, some dwarves just go on adventures. Some travel far and wide.
Are there still families looking for these dwarves in the cavern?
Some. I don't have knowledge of any in particular, but there are most likely many. Some leave the
Good.
caverns because they see their mothers, their fathers, turning to stone and cannot face that. So they leave. Some don't bother to even have children, knowing what fate awaits them.
Hmm. Unfortunate, of course. I shall see to it that this curse ends, and soon.
You have my eternal thanks. I hope that I can live to see that day.
Any more word of what lies below in the caverns?
Are you referencing the area near Mondag Tithe, or are you referencing underneath the crystal caverns themselves?
Crystal caverns.
Okay. There are rumors, but nothing substantial as of late. Most of the mining has gone undisturbed. No Duragar, no Look hath no interference of mind flayers or drow. But one thing comes to mind. He pauses and kind of moves over to his ledger and kind of scrolls through months at a time until he comes to a page that he's looking for, and he kind of brings his finger down to skim. Ah, as I thought. There was rumor of an ancient ruin that was found during a mining expedition a few months past. As far as I know, it predates the Crystal Caverns by centuries. Lying beneath the surface undisturbed, I am sure that the library would even fund a delve to explore and document what predates our very own civilization.
That would be fortunate for you. Perhaps it's time to go see an old friend.
Well, one moment, let me copy. Where did I put it? Oh, yes, one moment. He kind of scutters off for about 15 minutes and then brings back a map, or at least a rudimentary map of the mining lines from that kind of like ferry that brings up the ore from the Underdark that heads down deeper into the Underdark, and then like the cross of various mine shafts and how to get to the ruins. And he kind of rolls it up and hands it to you.
He looks at it and waits till he sets it on the desk before he.
Yeah, he'll set it on the
Grabs
desk
it.
before you.
He'll grab it then. Yes, this would help tremendously. What is your name?
Alphonsius.
Oh, Francis. I will come find you later if I have any more questions.
I will be here. The life of the party, as they say.
And he's stone faced.
Stone-faced. Ooh.
Just turns around and looks toward Ning and steps over to Sinra for a moment.
All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to go to break right before that discussion, and we will be back in, let's say, 8 minutes. So everyone get some water, get some snacks, and we'll be right back. Until then, we'll see you in a few. Hello, we're back. I am so sorry. I am terrible with math. But where we just left off, we left off in the library, where a lot of our party were looking into a variety of dragon-related topics and or history. So Garak, take it away. I believe you were going to have a conversation with Ning.
He kind of looks at the shelf for a little bit. Uh, doesn't really bring a hand to even remotely close. He just kind of looks at the hat suspiciously, and he does speak up. Half shell, will you come out real quick?
I'm resting. But okay. And you kind of see the bowler hat start to raise. Ming's sleepy eyes and like doing that just woke up pot mouth thing.
Did nothing of interest seem to interest you here?
A book holds a house of gold. I have enough gold.
What else interests you? Since books do not.
I like to watch rather than read.
Have you seen much death?
I've seen far more than somebody ever should. I have also seen much more life than most people do. It's all a balance.
Are you afraid of life or death?
I don't believe I'm afraid of them, though I wish to understand both of them better than I do.
What would you do if one of us died?
I would mourn your passing, but know that every life has its own thread, and eventually all those threads run out. Why do you ask?
I ask this of all those I choose to roam with, especially with Starlight. And kind of looks over real quick just to get an eye on if she's listening or not, and not really. And he turns back and if you haven't noticed, I dabble quite a bit with the life and death of others.
I have noticed, as a lot of our group, though several members seem to deal more in the death than the life. The band is quite a talented taker of it. As is Sinra, and so seems to be you. Not that weird, though.
I also seek this balance, as you say, of life and death. But I more am interested in those who don't always cherish the death that they have, as they leave things behind unfinished.
There's not many things worse in life than leaving it behind with things unfinished.
Do you have anything unfinished?
I have lots unfinished.
If you were to die, what would be one?
That I did not carry on my family name. Not that we have one per se, but the legacy of finding the mate, continuing the bloodline.
The noble track, it seems.
Was one of the few things my parents were able to teach myself and my siblings before they went away.
So it would not be at all good, if you can call it good, that if you were to perish, and that would be the end, would it not?
It would. There is no more left of my family with me.
A legacy unattainable to be finished unless left at its own whim, is it not?
Precisely.
Then I must
Luckily,
ask.
I don't plan on perishing.
But death comes to us all, does it not?
True.
Then I must ask you this one question. Since you will be following us, do you really wish to be resurrected?
Resurrected?
Why, indeed. If you were to die and there was a way to bring you back, would you take it?
When I pass, I plan to return to nature. This is the proper way. I would not want to be brought back.
I admire your decision in that. Leave it to me to make it so. And if there is any rites that I can perform to finish the job, let me know.
I will, Garrock. Thank you.
You may rest now. Excuse the interruption.
It is not a problem at all.
Don't worry about the dragon. I fear we will not be seeing it anytime soon. If I have anything to do with it.
It is okay. Remember, he who thinks too much about every step he takes will always stay on one leg.
Wise words. And he pulls away and goes back to Sinra for a moment to see if she's even remotely doing anything else.
She is staring quietly at this book with like her paw kind of like rests on one page, like sort of tapping absently.
With that focus, he doesn't really want to disturb that concentration because either he'll find out or he'll won't.
I'll say I don't know that she really looks focused.
Hmm.
It's more like she's staring through it at this point. Like, nothing new is showing up on the page she's been staring at for quite a while.
Okay, you probably would notice that then.
Yeah, because it's kind of like an absent... Like, her mind is elsewhere.
Starlight.
Kind of shift and look from the page and glance over her shoulder and then back.
He kind of shifts and kind of plants himself in like a firm spot. The floor probably creaks under his weight, and he looks down at her through the skull helmet that he has, and he says, "What's the next destination after here?"
I do not know.
Did you
He
find
says
anything?
so much and so little. Excuse me.
We might just have to look everywhere then.
Perhaps.
Sinra,
Mm-hmm.
roll me a d20. Intelligence. You cannot apply advantage or crits to.
Intelligence. That's a 14.
14. As you move to regard Garak, your claw catches on one of the papers, on the piece of the paper in the book, and it turns. And there's an entry. However small, it is a simple sentence. They are going to cast a ritual. I don't know what it does, but magic along the ley lines of the land funnel there. And that is it.
I delicately pick my claw out of the page so as not to tear it. But I read this. There is no one to ask questions of. This is so very frustrating.
Maybe more can be known at tonight's festivities.
These are young dwarves. I do not know what they will know of my time. Nothing I expect. But I have seen so many mentions of a calamity at the Temple of Kavath that is perhaps an avenue to pursue, but I do not know if any of the individuals we travel with now would want to return to the plane of bones.
What of the other temples?
I turn the page and tap on, I guess, my name and where it says that I died and where we were buried. I do not know. I don't think there is anything else to find here. You were there. There are only so many buried there, unless.
Unless. Kind of like eggs on a little bit.
I do not know what you are capable of.
Perhaps an augury is in order.
Perhaps. Can you. What can you do in asking questions of bones?
Mm. As far as the long lost, they must stay long lost.
Then it is all too long. Is that what you are saying?
Indeed, it is. By the by, everything still seems to be, and always a clue in these ancient scrolls and ruins and burial places. You say that only so many were buried, perhaps moved, perhaps elsewhere.
Perhaps. There was mention of some ritual, and I know a difference between the time of. There was this Marcus of Brit, I do not know. You spoke of the disappearances, and I see incongruities in some dates. There are facts wrong, but. And generations passing, I do not know.
Offspring?
So. Yes.
Offspring, yes. Surely someone knows. Descendants seems to pop up out of nowhere.
Oh, that is what you meant. Perhaps.
For now, I believe you found at least a small sample of what you are looking for.
I found the betrayers as well, but that is. And I glance markedly over in Verban's direction, and then back down to the book.
Kind of follows the gaze as well, just to see, and he looks back and says, maybe he is a clue as well.
I would not think to view him in the light of what ancestors did 300 years ago. He is his own individual. And I will not typecast him just because he looks the way he does.
But he still might know something.
I think he has already told us some that he knows. You recall the dagger.
I do, but he knows the area where it came from.
That is true.
Perhaps this ancient, just ritual circles and other ruins maybe of in the area as well.
I think we can discuss these things at a later time. We should probably collect everyone before we are all extraordinarily late to this banquet, of which purpose I no longer know, but it is an obligation, and I think we should go.
Very well. I will see how the others are doing.
All
And he
right.
starts to walk off.
Yeah. Verban, I think at that point where they're having that conversation was about 2 hours in. At that point, would you continue reviewing the contraptions, or would you have moved on to another book?
If he got the contraptions copied, because there's not much he can do at that given point. So
Yeah.
he's like, those are cool. Want those later. Gonna talk to a couple of Goliaths later. But yeah, if he's gotten the gist out of that book, he's gonna try to consume as much as he can. So he's like, I know what dragons are. I know how to track them. I know everything there is to know about them. I am going to be insufferable with dragon effects.
Yeah. Okay. I think if that's the purpose, yeah, you can just keep reading on dragons. I'll even give you a few dragon names that may still be active. There is Scorch Razor the Everburning, uh, which I will throw in every campaign.
Razor as in something that cuts, or razor as in something that rises?
Razor as in cuts.
Scorch Razor the Everburning. Yep.
There is Netherem, the Blight Caller.
Okay.
And there is Vastheriax of the Crippling Slow Death, a green dragon. And then there is a series of question marks and a drawing of a dragon that has been unidentified by name, but there are some details about them. They are bony. They are made entirely out of, like, a skeleton of a dragon. And question marks about breath weapon? How does it breathe? And the only knowledge you can glean from it is that the last adventuring party that went and came up with all this information was 15 individuals of fairly skilled abilities, 2 left alive, and they described it as a temple where the remains of several dragons lay littered among a arena. And this dragon slumbers over a horde of all 3.
Alright. Good to know.
Brodus.
Yep.
After you finish your wonderful endeavor to delve into the mysteries of Shortlock Thomes, I'm assuming you're going to get up at some point.
I'll get up to get the next book.
Sure.
I do want to give Derek some credit in the break. It is Shortlock Thomes and Squatson.
Roll me a perception check.
Oh, I actually got a good roll. Hold on. Perception. Can
Is
I
it
get
above
a
a 10?
20?
Is it above a 10?
Can I get a 20?
Yeah, you can. That might be your highest roll to date.
17 plus 3, so
Yeah.
probably.
So, you go to pull this book off of the stand. And you know that wooden backdrop that is in, libraries that you can kind of press in? As you pull it, you see a glowing sigil. A hand with an eye.
Uh-huh.
And it looks to, with a 23, it looks like there is a small indent for a button to be pressed. Or you can press the book in and walk away.
Press the button.
Do it.
You press the button. You hear an audible click from the stone wall behind you as it begins to... The bookcases that surround you begin to move to almost block the entrance from vision, closing off around you.
Okay.
There is a torch lit beyond that leads into the darkness of this library.
Well, I guess I may go down. Or in.
All right.
Or
You head down. Let me get some nice music going for you.
oh, yay.
There we go.
That's just bells.
You head
Oh,
down
there we go.
a set of stairs. Moldy, unused. The smell of grime and dust hanging in the air. Step after step echoes, cacophonous, down this spiral staircase into the depths. As you move down, torch by torch, rest in their holders unlit, lighting a flame as you descend. What do you do?
I think he would, after reading such a tale of Shortlock and Squatson, he has that, like, sense of adventure to where he's just going to keep going just to see.
If ever there was a mystery, now is one. As you descend deeper and deeper, your feet carrying you into the unknowing depths below. You make your way and come into a room. It is circular, and a simple pedestal rests in the middle with one dusty tome. Emblazoned with an eye that glows with a eldritch green light, illuminating this otherwise dark room. And you hear a voice in your head. Why shouldn't you take me? I am your birthright. Claim me for your own. Use me. I will give you everything you desire and more. I know you, Brodus. I have seen all that you are and all that you will be. All you need to do is take me.
Like the book? Just speaking into the air.
It is it is basically psionically, telepathically communicating with you, and just there is no audible voice. It is just coming into your mind.
Right, but Brodus just speaks out loud.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, just like take the book.
Yes, take me. Far too long have I languished. Far too long have those with no fates to remember been too terrified to use me. They didn't understand, but you can. Left on the sidelines by others, underestimated, shut out. I can change that. You know better. We can achieve so much more together.
What would you I guess take this as? Brodus likes the sound of everything, but also it's kind of creepy. So it's a little of like insight slash is my mind strong enough to hold me back?
Sure, roll me an insight check. a self-actualization check.
Just for the heck of it, I'm not gonna credit. And let's see. For the heck of it, without critting it, it's actually not bad. It's a 12.
12. So, this book is communicating to you telepathically. The creepiness is probably, what you would assume the creepiness factor is that it's not actually physically talking, so you get no expression. It is flat in vocal expression that a lot of people interpret. You feel fairly confident you could handle it.
And you said the tome was green?
It is a mottled, dust-covered tome, and you see an eldritch rune of light green glowing on the front cover. Of the sigil of the Cult of Trucian. Or Cult of True Sight.
We'll grab it.
Sure. I need you to roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Wisdom saving throw. Let's go with a 9.
9. Okay. Brodus, what is your greatest dream?
My greatest dream?
Yeah, what is... When Brodus thinks of who I want to be, what do they envision?
He envisions, in all honesty, what is in his mind right now is he wants tales told of him like tales were told of Shortlock and Squatson.
Okay. So, you think to this, almost like your mind is being driven in a specific direction. You think of this moment, you cherished above all else, you honored, known throughout the land, and in every time you picture yourself holding this book. It will get you where you need to go. And as your fingertips brush against this cover, the dust being worn off as you kind of wipe the grime from its cover, you feel a tingle of magic. The gusts of the weave of magic in this world hang tight to this book. It is perceptibly powerful and magical without having to identify, without having to even cast Detect Magic. There is a palpable feeling of power humming from this. We will do great things, you and I. When I advise you, I shall provide you my counsel. I know that you will do wonderful, magnificent things. And you feel his presence fade from your mind, and the room goes dark. The light of the torches still leading you back up.
Brodus will put the book in his pack and go back up and put the other Shortlock book back to almost conceal everything.
You may do so. You replace the book into the bookshelf, and the door of the wall and the bookcases back into position. And you realize you have been gone down there for 2 hours.
Where is he? I mean, Ning and Verban, I don't want to shout. We are in the middle of a library, but where the fuck is Brodus?
Brodus!
No shouting. Do not shout.
Upon hearing his...
I will track him.
Go ahead.
And because he is humanoid, I have advantage.
Are live areas my chosen terrain?
You know, technically, libraries are books. Books are made of trees. Trees are enforced.
I'm gonna have to rule
Regardless,
no.
forest is not one of my favorite terrains. It is an 18 survival to track. I could also just roll intelligence, see what information I recall about Brodus.
Uh, small, dwarven, has a half beard,
Incredibly
likes
cowardly.
noble stuff,
Mhm.
has a size 7 in dwarf feet.
That will
This
come
isn't
in
your first
handy.
time tracking them. I think that would be something you would know is the size of his
It isn't.
foot.
It's not. Weirdly enough, no, not.
But that time I didn't have shoes on.
That's why they know.
True.
They had to help you find your shoes.
I mean, it's just like pacing amongst the aisles. Picks up like one short beard hair. He came this way.
It's very much like when you go shopping with your parents as a kid, and like you lose sight of them for like 5 seconds, and you're like dashing down, like looking down each aisle. Yeah, you find Brodus easily enough. Yeah, they're chill.
Cool. I toss a net on him. Found you.
Verban, why'd you throw a net on me?
I was hunting you, and I succeeded. You are terrible prey.
It's a library.
Where have you been? We've
I
been
was
looking
reading-
for you
Places are
for
on the
10
grounds.
minutes.
Take my net back.
I was reading like all the Shortlock books.
The what?
You know, Shortlock and Squatson.
No, I do not know what this is.
I want to pull a different Shortlock book off of the shelf and hand it to her.
Sure. You find volume 14. Shortlock, Thomes, and Squatson. And the mystery of who done it, damn, did it. I don't know. I wasn't ready for that.
Of who
Who
did it,
done-
what?
Who done did it,
what?
damn, did it, done, did it.
Undid
Done.
it.
Done. Did.
Yeah, it's
Okay, throw down.
It makes more sense in Dwarven.
mm-hmm.
That's just the common
Exactly.
translation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The hellhound
It's how dwarves say who done it.
What is the purpose of this? This is not a historical tome. What are we not here researching? What's it?
I was, and then that book was a slog. Like it was tough to get through. I figured out a lot of people went to go fight dragons. Not many were either successful and or came back.
Yes, this is what I told you when we spoke of finding Montague Tice.
Dragons have breath things that they do, and
weapons.
what?
Breath weapons. I have
Yeah,
studied
yeah,
many
yeah,
dragons.
yeah.
I know them inside
Right.
and out.
I
Right,
pushed the book back where it was.
and you know, there's some special like dragon killing weapons that are about. I don't know what they are, but you know, there's some.
I have diagrams.
See, it was tag team effort. I
That is
figured out general
interesting.
information. Verban figured out specifics.
I would like to see these diagrams.
Oh, we will examine the diagrams. Don't you worry.
I put a hand on Brodus's shoulder and start turning him towards the exit.
Oh, he just willingly walked.
Okay. No, this is so we do not lose you.
You didn't lose me before. I was just in the short lock section.
It is the body system, brothers. Sinra is your body.
Oh my gosh, Sinner and I are friends.
That's not what I said. It is better
Buddies.
than tying a rope to you,
Buddies. Okay.
or a bell.
Sinra,
Not your friend, buddy.
What?
Not your buddy, pal.
Your pal guy.
We have
Elle,
somewhere
you're
to
Canadian.
be.
You can get away with that.
We will go towards the banquet.
It is banquet time.
Wonderful. I was waiting for what you were gonna do
Yeah.
as a group. I was just gonna sit here and wait.
This bang don't quit.
Yeah. All right. So you set off towards the banquet, headed back towards the. Well, you're already at the library. So you kind of step out of the library, and the noble halls are down in the subsequent passageways that kind of come off that circular room. You head down towards the noble houses of various counselors, passing by around 3 or 4 houses that you're not familiar with, or you don't have invitations to. It happens. And you come to, at last, the home of the one, the only, as I pull up the name, Morden Forgefist. The Clan Forgefist house is these elaborate stone-carved fences that have a mushroom garden and moss garden resting beyond, and a cobblestone pathway that kind of leads through this garden up to a massive 3-story mansion, for better terms. It is very utilitarian, but very presentable in like a elegant architectural style. And there are 2 guards posted at the door of the gate, and they just offer a nod as they see you approach. Milady! And they kind of open the gate for you.
Does Lanthario and Mr. Thunderjug seem to be here?
You can presume that they probably showed up early.
Okay.
And that they
Yeah,
are
they're both ass kissers. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. They are. Like, they definitely showed up without you, and they were like, yes, more time to mingle. So as you kind of walk there, you come to like these stone doors that are also open for you. A butler, a dwarven butler that has like this elegantly groomed, magnificent beard that is curled in all the right ways, and kind of wears a little hat and is dressed in like a dress coat, suit, tie. And they hold up a hand and offer you a quick bow. Now presenting Lady Sinra Starmane, Her Royal Highness, and
Hey,
her entourage.
I knew I was getting her name right.
Verban of the Bone Wastes, co-owner of Thunder Jugs.
Brodus, Silversmith. I'm Lanthario's associate.
Brodus, Lanthario's friend.
No. Associate.
Associate. Lanthario's associate. Terribly sorry, sir. Verban of Clan...
The Bone Wastes, I have no clan. The co-owner of Thunder Jugs.
The
Thunder
Verban,
Jugs. And
the
the shirt just kind of goes on.
owner of Thunder Jugs of the Skull Wastes. They look to Garak and Ning.
I am Ning, and of the bowler hat. And I will like put my hand on my bowler hat, but instead of lifting it up, I just dip my head into myself and then put it back.
Ning of the bowler hat. And, I need to roll for them, because I think they would recognize... Yeah, they recognize Garak. Let me pull up your title real quick.
I also do want to be clear. It says Thunder Jugs is family restaurant number 1. It's like a retranslated kind of...
Yes.
I love it. Garak, what would have been your title during your times here?
There's been a couple. He probably would have just went with Cleric of Null.
The Cleric of Null. And he kind of holds out an arm to like take a coat if offered, or escort people in. Either or, really.
I will just start walking. This has been a lot.
Yeah. You enter into this large banquet hall. They have chefs bring out platters of everything you could possibly imagine. You know, let's get some festival music going on here. You have minstrels playing pipes and flutes and tambourines on stage. You have a sign that mentions that the illustrious Ahradel Dinavan will be performing tonight. And these are just like the headliners. Not the headliners, but the warm-up band. You see a variety of nobility, both dwarven as well as some humans that you are unfamiliar with. You see High Priest Dundugan, Morden Forgefist, and you see Shock Thunderjaw. Shock has brought a guest that you do not recognize. They are a female dwarf who looks... If looks could kill, this person's looks screams, "I will snap your spine," and laugh.
Yes.
They are rugged beyond compare. They have scars over their face, and they look like they could lift a horse with one hand.
They're a dwarf.
They are a dwarf. A dwarf woman.
What was that on?
I clock her
music's a little
biceps.
chapped.
Oh,
Or
let me
not for
turn the
chat.
music down. It is apparently a little bit loud. Let's go to here. Much better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What was that name?
Oh, I was just saying that somebody in chat said the music was a bit loud.
Oh, wonderful. Yep, I've turned it down. Outside of that, you see several nobles, a lot of waitstaff bringing in food. You see a seat of honor that is saved right next to Mr. Forgefist. And seated on the far side of that seat is... is Stone Speaker Athala Bronzebrow, who is sitting right there. She looks miserable being here. When she sees the group of you, you see a ghost of a smile kind of spread across her features, like, thank God someone who's not a stuffy noble is here. But the party is yours to do with as you please. Counselor Forgefist stands up and approaches all of you. Welcome, welcome! I hope the party is to your liking. I have spared no expense to,
It is a magnificent show. I am thoroughly impressed. I am uncertain that I could possibly offer anything to such a... anything commensurate to what you have put in for tonight, but I thank you nonetheless.
It's a dwarf's honor to
you
light
have
the
to
forges
liquidate
with the
your
fire of
assets?
friendship.
Did you have to liquidate your assets?
That is...
Well, a bit, but with a vast treasury, there's no loss. Please, please.
Well, I thank you, and I know Lanthario has probably already thanked you.
Oh, of course. And you must be Brodus. I've
The
been
one
told
and
so
only,
much
yes.
about you.
Yes, the one and only Brodus.
I heard that you killed what are they called? A knoll, correct?
Yeah.
That is what they are called, yes.
Yeah.
Well, ye must be quite the fighter. Come, all of you. Your seats are waiting, and the show is to begin.
Perfect.
He claps his hands, and you see hordes of attendants funneling in, bringing food. You know, there are literal masseuses that are, like, giving massages to various guests at their chairs. This is above and beyond what you would expect, to a high degree.
Brodus wants to sit down, get a tankard full, get a bunch of food on his plate, and see if he can get a massage. This sounds amazing.
Absolutely you can. If you can dream it, and it's food, they have it, or they will get it. Outside of Thunderjug's LLC Kaboom's.
Fair enough.
They have, like, wines of various vintages. They have mead, ale, the whole 9 yards. You can get a back massage, you know, easy peasy. The rest of you, what would you like to do?
Well, again, is this plated or buffet?
Plated. But it's... Have you ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. They just
Yes.
keep cycling extra food to you.
Yes.
And they just... They're like, oh, do you want seared Roth in a vignette of, you know, red wine, sir? And they just kind of plate it on and then keep going.
I feel like being the table with like all the people sitting at it, Ning goes to like an opener area, like probably what would be the dance floor, and unclips their stool and sits down, and just kind of like looking around, watching everybody.
Roll me a perception check.
Natural 1. So it's a 1.
Okay. You're pretty You're pretty good at insight, and pretty good at, you know, sounding out the character of someone after years of meditation. You see one of the attendants slip and catch themselves. You're pretty sure that they are quite skilled in martial arts. And probably... They may have nefarious means here.
My eyes narrow and I make mental note of everything that they are, like every physical feature of them.
Oh yeah, they are the only elf attendant that you have seen. They are female. They are dressed in a bright green flowery dress, and they have kind of like a budding flower coming from behind their ear that blossoms into a set of auburn hair that is kind of tucked back in a ponytail. They have vibrant green eyes, but you know, every time they have an empty empty plate that they are bringing back to the kitchen to get more, you can tell that their fists are clenched in, like, you know, the way that you punch without breaking your fingers.
I would like to sit with more than Forge Fist and make myself available to him. I assume that he desires to speak with me.
Oh, absolutely. This is more of like the casual, like, eating and walk and talk, and then, you know, the wine and dine comes afterwards, where, you know, the schmoozing begins and the political favors are kind of curried, from your experience. As you sit down, mostly he just talks to you. I'm just going to fast forward because I don't think it's an interesting conversation for anyone. But it's mostly about the tradeway and him kind of gleaning what happened to the caravan and, you know, getting your insight on what are your takes on what could have made this better. And he's kind of using you as a soundboard for what you could perceive as he's trying to set up his own caravan.
Okay. Yeah, I would gather that. Um, I would respond mostly in kind. In so much as I think I would understand what he's doing enough to not necessarily give him anything he could use against the people that I cared about in that caravan. Like, I don't want them to be so run out of business that they end up starving.
Yeah. I think roll me a persuasion check or any charisma check that you feel would,
Oh, I'll do
because I
persuasion.
think that with I know your charisma score. I think it's feasible that you could negotiate on their behalf or talk up your caravan to make it seem like they are a better deal to work with rather than against.
So that's a 27.
Yeah. I think easily you are able to kind of, talk them up to seem more capable and to kind of sound out, that it may be more lucrative and cut on his costs to utilize existing caravans and maybe supply either goods
Of
or
which
additional
I have
goods.
an inroad with, should he desire to use my name in such dealings.
Yeah, you get a feeling he's pretty happy with that. As the banquet begins. Garak, Verban, Brodus. There are a series of service entryways on the left and far back. Far back seems to go to the kitchen. To the left, no one knows. No one's come through there all night.
I would like to talk to Lanthario as far as what kind of deals have we conjured so far tonight?
Well, my friend, I'm so glad that you asked. And he kind of pulls open his double A and pulls out like a series of 9 different contracts that he's written up. Well, here are my thoughts. Now, tell me if I'm wrong. You know that I love your advice.
Fair enough.
He sets the first one down. Now, here's what I'm thinking. Lady Withershins, in an exclusive crystal deal, we say they have magical abilities for healing and, spiritual healing. Or they can make wind chimes out of. But we sell them as medicinal.
I think that could be lucrative.
Alright, if you thought that was good, then... well, you're in for number 2. Number 2. What if we were able to work out a contract? Now, hear me out. This is a stretch. Mithril. If we could get our hands on that, whether mithril ingots or mithril goods, imagine the sales we could make. We would be one of the only places in the Kingdom of Andalon that has it. Could you imagine?
And who do we think here can supply the mithril?
Well, you see that dwarf over there? And he points to one of the dwarves that you've not met yet. I heard that they are in charge of all the delving that goes on into the Underdark. I have no doubt that you've seen those little ferry boats that come up magically, bearing all the ores. Now, they told me, I overheard, that a new mithril vein has been found. And right now there's a negotiation for who has mining rights.
Okay.
If we could get our name out there, or even a partnership with who does. Well, I'm sure we could get a fair price for those mithril ingots.
I think that is my preferred proposal right now.
Well, if you thought that was great, here's the last one I have. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
How to, chap? I'm going to need some reassurance that you are ready.
I sit there and I tip my top hat forward. I am ready.
I love your enthusiasm. All right, the third contract, by far most important. We purchase land within the Crystal Caverns itself. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why land? Well, here's the thing. Once we purchase the land, we could start up a shop, importing all the goods from Andalin that isn't readily available here, and that they're not going to go to Tildwanan or deal with the Assyrian Empire, and they're not going to deal with Revgast and those awful bastards up there. They would much rather deal with us, so we import goods across the Plane of Bones and sell it at a price increase. Now, I'm sure you've known and seen, they do not have a lot of agriculture, and they don't have a lot of husbandry here. Horses! Could you imagine?
Right. I think we can do 2 in 1 there. You buy the land, you get the store, bring in the items for Mandolin, but also use that as our shipping route to get the mithril back.
I knew there was a reason why I liked you so much! That's absolutely brilliant. I don't know why I didn't think of it myself.
Exactly. So I think, those 2 contracts, let's, make sure let's get them written up. And, or you can have me write them if you would like me to.
Would you mind? My Dwarvish is a bit rusty, and he will slide the 3 contracts to you in like a quill and ink. Verban. Garak.
With the contracts, I will write them. I do want to use illusory script and write myself, instead of it being a 50-50 split, or whatever our split is, I want to make sure to add extra shares on my end in the illusory script, but according to what Lanthario can read, it looks split evenly.
Sure. Roll me a deception check, and as you do, I want you to add a +10 to your roll as you hear in your mind.
I'm gonna crit it.
Oh, okay. What is that total? As you hear the whispers of the book saying, "Good. You deserve this."
24 plus 10, 34.
So, you begin to use your spell and begin to write the contract. Lady Withersham's, of course, the primary benefactor.
Mm-hmm.
As supplicants to her, you, Lanthario, where originally Lanthario's percents were 7%, you 3%. You see the writing shift and weave with magical traces as that 7 becomes a 3, and your 3 becomes a 7.
I'll take it. And that would be on all the contracts.
Okay. Duly noted.
I would like to curl a finger towards Verban after a time and kind of see if I can bring him over here to the conversation I'm having with Morden.
Hello.
This is the knoll that I was telling you about. Is as far as these shipping routes with the caravan, if you require very up-to-date knowledge on the traversing through the field of bones, he has been guiding caravans for quite some time. He would be capable of providing maps for a price.
Well, curl me beard and call me a halfling.
No, thank you.
So,
None of us would dare to do such a thing. Your beard is far too magnificent.
Du har svårt att både be like.
So, what are your thoughts on the Plane of Bones? Is it a fine investment to ship? Or How many guards do I need to supply if I was to ensure that my goods were to reach their destination?
Is it a good investment? It is by necessity your only investment. If you are going to ship things logistically from point A to B, it is shortest route that has lowest cost benefit analysis. If you are talking about how many guards, you need to take a look at your quality versus quantity, because otherwise you are just feeding null tribes. If you send out basic guards with basic equipment and little to no training, they are meat. If you send out skilled people who know how to protect the caravan and defend properly against roving hordes of vicious tornadoes of teeth and claws that are gnolls, then your caravans will survive. But you must also have to have acceptable losses. Not everybody will make it through. That is part of why it is the Plane of Bones.
Well, tell me now. Have you ever seen any gnoll, I don't know the word, encampments along the
Yes.
trade route?
No. The trade route is, it would be poor planning for that. Gnolls camp further out. They surprise. They plan. They hunt. You don't put your tent right next to your trap. If you think about it, your trade route is a singular path that corrals everything and traps everyone onto a singular path. Gnolls
You
know what to
believe
hunt.
there would be better routes elsewhere outside of the one established already?
I think it would be beneficial to make multiple routes. Alternate which ones you are going to, and they're random.
Well, now, here be my thoughts. What if we circumvented the Plane of Bones completely and mined through the mountain?
I think that could be a viable solution in many decades.
Go
And
under
in the
needs instead
meantime,
of-
you would be making no money and instead investing.
He leans over to Athala, who, at the mention of digging a tunnel, this is like the one moment of enthusiasm you have seen on her face. Well, I mean, we could do that. We could dig it. I mean, I could get druids on there shaping stone. We get the miners going.
It seems to me that perhaps you should establish these routes across land to fund this excavation. So then you will be building towards something for the future of your people, while bettering their
make-
quality of life at present.
If I could make an additional suggestion. It is not just gnolls that are out there. We encountered something bigger, larger, demonic. What helped us was when we found the tower outpost with its walls and its heavy defenses. Create more outposts, checkpoints, things that can protect the caravan from point to point. Don't leave long stretches where things with teeth can get to them. Give them havens.
Well, I mean, that's the problem, though, is the further out we go from that post, we've tried. Every time we try, Kingdom of Annalyn's tried, we've tried. Every time, we send out supply caravan, everyone's dead.
There are existing structures in the plain, are there not?
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's cities, there's temples, there's
There are.
forts. But I mean, still, I mean, if we send a battalion to go guard a fort in the middle of nowhere and hope that supplies are gonna reach them, what happens if the gnolls say, "Ah, heck, there's some tasty dwarves that are the only dwarves in a whole wide area. They're all gonna en masse attack them."
Fortifications are by definition easier to maintain than some camp along the side of the road. If you were to slaughter an encampment of gnolls and take a old linen temple for your own, would that not be easier to defend?
I mean, possibly. I mean,
Just make sure that they are not in the middle of nowhere. Space your outposts, your forts closer together. Only have them instead of 20 miles away, 10 miles away. With that amount of time, enough reinforcements could supply. You move from fort to fort. You don't have the large expanse. You need the checkpoints if you are going to the Plane of Bones. Otherwise, you will lose people.
Well, let me talk to some of me boys and see what we
If
can
you
come
are-
up with.
Interested in sending probing forces into the plain to kill gnolls and take back lost territory, I would help you in this, I think.
Aye? Well, I don't mind the thought. We could definitely send in a legion of dwarves, take back some of the lands. But,
And if you give me a map, I can show you where there were lost places you may not remember at present.
alright. Well, after the meal, we'll get on that then.
After the meal.
Garak.
Thank you, Verban.
Garak, what would you be doing during the festival?
He'll be nitpicking from some of the food that's been passed around, but he's kind of being a not really a wallflower, just gazing over at the stone speaker, but also ritual cast and detect magic around the area, just to
Okay.
get a scan of the area, what he sees, trying to use his senses to especially keep an eye on Sinra, but trying to find what his limitations are if there was something to go down.
Sure, are you using any magic for this?
Detect magic,
Okay, wonderful. And that is a 30-foot radius or 60?
30.
30. I'm assuming Brodus is sitting 30 feet away from you.
I don't know. That's up to Brodus or you.
I would be fine to be within the 30 feet. He can detect that I'm doing something, but that's about it.
Yeah, so I believe it is illusion for
It
illusion.
is illusion.
So from the contract, you would sense a faint illusory illusion magic. You would sense from Brodus's bag conjuration and
Okay.
necromancy.
Interesting.
You would sense from Sinra, who I believe is still holding the dagger. You would sense, I don't know if it necessarily falls into a category of magic. I would say you sense a item from Sinra's bag is giving off a magical aura.
As well as the amulet that you're already familiar with.
Yep.
Yes.
And then, I don't think any of you are wearing your magical hats or Verban's little magical coat that just Thunder Jugs' #1 best family-friendly restaurant.
Right.
Under Jugs Restaurant, the best #1 family. it's just switching the words around.
That's
I would
Family
love it.
best #1 Thunder Jugs Restaurant.
One best
What
Thunder
about,
Jugs restaurant.
Number.
I mean, if Ning's within 30 feet, their walking stick gives off a what would it be? Probably enchantment aura.
Yeah, I think so. Outside of that, you would see Athala has 3 items of note that are magical. She has a sickle on her hip that gives off enchantment. She has a brooch and a necklace. You assume that the necklace is a casting focus that has been enhanced. And the brooch itself is some sort of protective abjuration item.
I also have the paper birds on me, which would be conjuration.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yes. So Garrock's seen me use one before, so it's not unusual for me to have conjuration.
That's true, and they are also in
fair.
your bag.
It's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mr. Firefist has a hand axe that is heavily enchanted. And no other items.
While he's doing this, he's really. I mean, he's not focusing the magic toward Athala, but he's actually has a broken eye contact from her at all.
Okay. Would you have said anything to her, or would it just be kind of staring?
So I don't think we've talked since ever, because he talked to the last one.
Yeah.
This
So
time,
her mentor and
That's right.
predecessors you did meet and know.
If the glaring and the obvious trying to get attention doesn't do anything, he'll.
I think she has a high enough perception that she would catch on after a moment that you're staring. And I think you get that like initial like they write it off and they're like, okay, I don't want to be judgmental. And then, once they like cast their gaze back to you and realize you're still staring, she'll be like, well, can I help ya? What can I do for ya?
You are the stone speaker, yes?
That's me.
What happened to the last?
Well, they're still alive.
Oh,
Just not for very much longer. They're pretty much about to be speaking with the stones.
where are they?
They should be at their house. I mean, they're pretty much bedridden at this point. Ain't moving unless someone's carrying a slab of stone.
Did they not mention a Garok to you?
I mean, they mentioned a whole lot. They mentioned, pretty much everything going on with the city, all the architecture, all the people I need to deal with, all their duties. I'm sure they had mentioned you. It's just I thought we had more time. I thought we had more time for me to learn.
Time is a precious commodity that no one has here.
Ain't that the truth?
I would request to see your mentor, if possible.
Yeah, of course. I can have someone. I can take you myself in the morning.
That should be acceptable. Do know that I am one of the, hopefully many, that is looking into this curse. I have information to give.
All right. Well, bright and early, I'll take you over there. I'm sure that they'll have more knowledge to give you more insight than I can. Well, they're much better than I am.
Hmm. Very well. Kaiser picks one of the bones from his bag and just starts crunching it.
Yeah. As you do that, I think that's around the moment where everything pauses as the elven bard begins to exit that side room to the left. Aredrold Dinavan is dressed in this flowing, glittering gown of black and starlight. She has raven tresses cast behind her ears, braided in elaborate knots and rolled into a variety of braids. She stands at about 5'8", 5'9", slender, and she is holding this staff that is a thin staff haft, and at the top it is this kind of circle, like an oval, almost like an egg of gnarled wood that seems to be intricately carved and checkered. And she kind of moseys towards the stage, and the various minstrels that have been entertaining kind of step off and leave to the back, the way that she came. And she says, and she taps her staff on the ground once, and it kind of, you hear this reverberating sound as her voice is illuminated and kind of grows in vibrancy and volume. It is my divine pleasure to be here tonight performing for all of you. Ladies, gentlemen, I will now begin. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session, I think. But what I would like to know is, 3 things from all of you. Who are ya? What projects are you doing? And, let's see. Well, that's the third thing we want to know. How about one quick thing you enjoyed tonight? I'll go last.
I'll go first. Again, name's Trick. You can find me across the most social medias under the same name. Latest projects. I'm always thinking of projects to do. Uh, Nothing ever really gets finalized because I just think too much. But that's okay. I get the dream. That's about a lot that I get to do. One thing I like tonight is definitely the hat swap of Ning. Inside the store with as he mimics or as they mimic the mannequins. Off to you, L.
Yes, I am the aforementioned Ning. I am L. I go by L Street Gaming on Twitch and Twitter and all other things. That's where you can find me. I also am one of the moderators for the Free Forge Discord, where we just finished our first charity event where we raised over $5,000 for the Trevor Project. So we're taking a little break after the month of hectic that was, but planning some cool up and coming stuff and some more projects that I'm working on that are hush hush at the moment. And one thing I enjoyed tonight was Sinra and Ning hugging twice, almost 1.5. It was like 1.5 of a hug. And I will pass it to Derek.
Thank you, Al. Hi, everybody. I'm Derek Sword. If you want to find me and more of my projects, best place is Twitter at dsword16. I am also on Graham's channel on Fridays, every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, except for this coming Friday. We're taking the week off. But typically I play with Graham and Farrow for Gold Shine Investigation Agency. Play a swampy bugbear named Griaz there. Every other Saturday for the next month, I will be on Eva Sariot's channel for Horizons Call. We're going to an every other week schedule as we get to the final few episodes of Horizons Call. So we're wrapping up season 1. There will be a season 2. I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, the Krakens and Oceantics. Yeah, lots of stuff to be had. So definitely check that out. I'm also the co-host of the podcast Monster Crush. So if you enjoy monsters of all different kinds, shapes, and sizes, and think they all are just interesting, like learning about them, but also think that they're like a little sexy and they all deserve smooches, check out Monster Crush wherever podcasts are found. We just came out with episode 52, which is a beach episode, and more are on the way. And something I like today. I really enjoyed the short lock gnomes. Was that what it was? I really like the Sherlock Holmes reference and how that led to another delving into the weird cult that Brodus has somehow, like, Brodus is apparently part warlock now or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And speaking of Fox,
So I'm Fox, or TTRPG Fox. I'm back from my honeymoon, so yay, things can resume. So keep tabs there. One thing I enjoyed tonight was that my word flub of beer job is now not the worst of them. Thank you, Graham, for taking that over. No, in all honesty, Shopping Palooza was great. And yeah, I look forward to the end of the banquet.
I guess it's off to me then.
Mhm.
I am Pharaoh. I played Sinra today. You can also find me, as Derek mentioned, not this Friday, but next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on this channel for Goldshine Investigations, where I play Utaka, a water genasi cleric rogue with not enough spell slots, riding a giant spider, trying to get away from a flailing chandelier that's ready to kill him. So that's where we'll be picking off next Friday. Uh, Come and watch me die, maybe. um, Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Ferocious. That's linked in the chat. And let's see, one of my favorite. I will give my favorite mention for the night to Verban's vest of ever changing dwarf commonish. Loved it. So tacky, so on brand for Thunder Jugs. Okay, back to you, Graham.
Thanks, Pharaoh. Hi everyone, my name is Graham, or Graham Crackers, and this is my channel. It's if this is your first time here, well, welcome. I'm glad that you stayed and watched us. You know, it's always great to see a new face. If you are a returning friend, or a Gremlin, if you will, if I could coin a phrase, welcome back, and you know, it's always lovely to see you here. I hope you had fun, because we certainly did. You can catch me every Tuesday here on the Graham Crackers channel at 7:30 or 8 p.m. We will maybe be live next week. We will see. We probably will with Anarion's Rest, but you know, who knows? I will be driving cross country and arriving literally that day. So, we'll see. Otherwise, you can find me every Friday playing Geharis Nervos, your favorite Tiefling Paladin, Oath of Conquest, where I say tacky things in a bad French accent and smite things. Outside of that, you can find me every other Saturday, where I am on Polished Cryptids channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, where we are playing the 80s inspired these strong hands, where we are basically fae folk in a world that humans are ruining, and we've gotta solve it. So, you know, I'm playing a red cap in that named Grumble Mudrun, who lived under a bridge his entire life, doesn't own an oven, and literally has been eating mud pies forever. And had his first real food literally at the Festival of Peace, which was a delight. And then I made all my friends eat mud. So that's what I like to get up to. Outside of that, you can find me on the Games Tavern, which is going to be having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show coming out in a few weeks on, I believe, Saturdays, but it may be Wednesdays, of a 4-shot, which I will be playing, if I remembered my character's name. But we haven't had session 1 yet. That's why I don't remember. But I will be playing a Draconic Sorcerer. No, I lied. I've already lied to you. I am playing a Warlock. I am playing a Warlock for once. That's why I couldn't remember. Who is, a ex-guard who maybe entered a bad deal to save their daughter who made some bad deals. Who knows? But we will catch you next week or later this week. No, we won't catch you later this week because I won't be here on Friday. So we will catch you next week. But, if you want to find me, Graham Crackers 1 at Twitter. My favorite moment was the moment I got to see all of these lovely players hop on my Zoom call. Because literally, they make every day better just by being in it, and it is an absolute delight to have them here while they can't say anything to dispute it. They're each wonderfully, wonderfully exceptional in every way, and I hope that you give them a follow and, ask them to play all the D&D, because they deserve it. And, speaking of D&D, I hope you have a wonderful night. I know it doesn't involve D&D, but I hope you have a wonderful night. Stay hydrated, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. So take care, friend. Sending love. We are going to raid. We are Nerdsmith. And, we're gonna spam them with maybe some Graham love. How about that? But yeah, on next Friday, we'll probably die. I won't pull the wool over your eyes, audience. We're in dire straits. But until next time, take care.